Welcome to A Funny Thing Called Business. We are 4 business owners with over 30 years collective experience under our belts, sharing the capers and triumphs of running a small business and how we now avoid perilous customer chaos and pitfalls. I'm Clare Whalley from Metaphor Business Coaching. We also have
Darren Langley from Gravitas Web Design.
Kate Curry from Kudos Creative.
Pete Morgan from Monkey Pants Productions.
And we're ready to go.
Oops.
Oh my goodness, Claire.
We are professionals at podcasting.
That's our first mistake of our live episode. My phone is repeating everything that I'm saying. So let's switch that off.
If you close LinkedIn down,
I've switched it
and there we go.
So,
It's like when you're in those really important meetings and someone's left their phone on and it rings.
exactly.
We managed 5 seconds before we had a cock up. That was better than expected.
Guess what? We're live on LinkedIn. So to paraphrase Davina McCall, we're live on LinkedIn. Please do not swear.
Please do not leave your phone on with the LinkedIn live feed.
Or that. So let's get cracking, guys, because today we are talking about turning points that have made your business grow. So let's dive in with what has been the biggest turning point in your business. Darren, I'm going to start with you because you're always so wise at these things.
Thank you.
Guess off.
It's because I've been around so long, that's why. I mean, loads of things really that are turning points, but I was thinking about this and kind of trying to prioritise or in my mind work out what have been some of the most important turning points. And oddly enough, one of them I would say is networking, because I was really anti-networking when I started in business. I was like, well, my website's on Google and I'm doing well and getting business through that. Why do I need to go and sit in a room full of people and whatever else? But the relationships that I've built up and the client base I've built up through networking and getting out there and doing it has really transformed the business. Now the business I get through the website, great. But the really great ones, ones are the people I meet through networking. And you know, it leads to other opportunities, like even this podcast. I've met all 3 of you through networking.
Yes.
I doubt I'd have met you otherwise. So, you know, it's one of those things that it's the people you meet and having those opportunities to meet them.
Yeah, and it's not just about the business, is it? The business is the cherry on the top. It's all the other things that come with, you know, relationships that you make while you're out networking.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one breeds the other, really, because, you know, you create good networks. You create good, you go to good networks. You create good relationships with people and know, like, and trust them.
Yeah.
And do business with them. But then it's also the support you get back as well. I mean, this is like a therapy situation for us anyway, isn't it? Every month we get together. We sit here.
Is today.
Yeah, lying on these couches. It's good that you've got 4 chaise longues for us to lie on. You know, and we're just kind of self-helping each other. So, yeah, there's so much that goes back and forth out of that networking. So that's why I thought, really, even though there's loads of other things I could say was definitively a turning point, I think the networking side of it has had the most impact and the most effect long term.
Yeah. So I'm happy that started with you now. That's kicked it off well. Networking.
Good. I'm going to have a little nap.
Kate, what about you? What's been your biggest turning point?
Yeah. Is anyone else feeling a bit mischievous and wanting to put their favourite swear words into the answers?
Yeah. Well, you usually do.
I'll try and avoid doing that. I do definitely agree with networking. That was definitely something that was on my list as well. But I think for me, one of the biggest turning points was doing a business course. So I went into business and I knew exactly what I was doing in terms of like my craft and what I actually did as a job. But running a business was completely different. So when I first started, it was like a laptop, a spreadsheet, a spare bedroom. That's all I need, right? I don't really need to do anything else. And then I think it was about 3 years in, and somebody recommended to me that I applied for the Aston Programme for Small Business Growth, which is what it was called back then. I think it might be called something a little bit different now. And it was a 6-month, really intensive business course. And we were going in for long sessions with all sorts of experts talking about cash flow and how to build a team and like figuring out what your messaging is and competitor research and business model canvases, and who knew that was a thing. And there was all this, it was mind blowing because I couldn't believe how much I didn't know. I almost felt a bit embarrassed how much I didn't know. It was incredible. And the output of it at the end of that 6 months is we had to produce a 3-year business growth strategy, which we had to present to the whole cohort of about like 40, 50 people.
Yeah.
It felt like 40, it might not have been that many, but it felt like a lot. And a panel of real life business investors as well, like a Dragon's Den style thing. And they mic you up. So I had a mic on me and I was like, they're going to hear my heart banging. Are you sure this is going to be okay? But the learnings I got from that were just like phenomenal. And all the things I didn't think I would do, like hiring people, growing a team, getting office space, all of that sort of stuff, all came to fruition off the back of that. It made me realise that I had something special that I could grow, and they gave me the tools to be able to do it. And I was really excited by that. So I think that was my first biggest turning point in my business and really transformed the way I viewed the business and myself as well.
And out of interest, how far into the business were you before you made that decision?
I think it was probably about 3 years or something.
It's funny, isn't it? It's a long time, isn't it?
It was
before we
really,
make those
but I didn't
decisions.
know it was a thing, and I think that's one of the things here, isn't it? It's like you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know networking was a thing to start with.
No.
Well, I think that is when you start a business. A lot of people, unless you've got an MBA in business and you just want to be a business dude, then most people will start their business because they're doing something that they're passionate about, whatever that is, whether it's crocheting or web design or whatever. I mean, when I started, I didn't even have a laptop. I just design websites on Slate.
I thought you were going to say like when you first started, I was just going to do like crocheting to start with.
Well, you know that business didn't. We don't talk about that business. That one.
I can crochet your website.
Yeah, it's a new
niche.
thing.
It's
a new
niche.
thing. It is really niche. You know what? That's a really good idea. I'm going to put together a business.
You can
plan.
have that.
Yeah, business plan's coming up. So, but you're right, because you do something because you're passionate about it, not because you want to run a business.
Yeah.
And then that's sometimes the demoralising thing as well, because you get into it and you think, oh, now I've got to do accountancy and bookkeeping and got to keep all these receipts. But you know, I think over time you sort of transcend those things, and you know, it all becomes part of the love and the joy. Maybe.
Very true.
Who doesn't love doing their annual returns?
Oh, it's what I dream about.
For me, the turning point, I mean, this sounds like contrived, but it was working with a business coach for me. You know, I started my business off as a life and career coaching. That's really what I started doing.
Sounds a bit contrived, this.
But I think I was wearing a mask that I felt like I had to know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And deciding to work with a business coach helped me take the mask off and hold my hand up and say, actually, I don't know everything. And I'm here to learn. And I really just invested my whole me and time into really learning what I wanted to do, get some direction. And I think because I started to take myself seriously, that kind of opened the doors for other people to take me seriously. Pete's now laughing at me.
Exactly. It was because I don't think I never thought of you. And of course, I know that you're serious, but you know, you're very good at laughing at yourself. That's all. That was all that it was. And I'm also still kind of laughing at Darren's term of self-helping yourself, which just feels
I was a bit concerned
just
about
feels weird. This episode of A Funny Thing Called Business is sponsored by Monkey Pants Productions, the podcasting production house that holds your hand as much or as little as you want, whether it's through education and training, right up to full mobile studio facilities that we can bring to where you are to get your business vision, your podcast idea out to a waiting global audience. We've just launched our brand new course for 2025, Launch Your Business Podcast. 10 lessons, easy to digest, email support, a lifetime access to the course once you've bought it. If you want to find out more, the link is in the show notes. Okay, back to the episode.
Oh, yeah.
What was your biggest turning point, Pete? Because
No.
you're the baby of the businesses.
Yeah. For me, and what's lovely is obviously all three of yours was a conscious thing of this is going to improve my business. It's going to be a turning point. Maybe you didn't know it was going to be a turning point, but you made a conscious decision. A big turning point for me was the lockdown.
Oh, yeah.
Was huge for the business as a whole, because nobody could go anywhere, and that was when businesses were like, you know what we should do? We've been talking about doing a podcast for a while.
Yeah.
Let's do one. Because we'd not long since started. A Funny Thing Called Business, I think, started at the beginning of 2020.
Yeah.
So we'd only done like 3 or 4 episodes before we were in lockdown. But yeah, that took the business to a completely new level. That like quadrupled the business in the space of just a few weeks, really. So that was a turning point that I had no control over.
Yeah.
But I think conscious turning point, similar to yourself, Claire, was getting a business coach, because it just it puts that structure in place. Because I think we've talked about this before, because we're creatives, you know, I am just like a puppy with a load of coloured balls. I mean, I'm just like, oh my God, look at this. I don't want to play with that and buy a new toy and get this thing. But then, like Darren said, someone goes, have you done your accounts? What? No. So
I'm in the ball pit with Pete.
Yeah.
Well, it's lovely to hear such a positive story coming out of lockdown.
Except now Pete's like, come on, bird flu, come on.
Let's have
I'm telling you.
So what would you love to tell others who are right behind you to absolutely do?
I think I'm going to jump on this one. Yep. I think that the common theme with all of our answers there is the turning point was investing in yourself, wasn't it? All in different ways, like with coaching, networking, all of that sort of stuff. Yeah, COVID. I can't maybe not that one so much. But I do think that is a big thing to, if you really do want to instigate change in your business and positive change, that one of the biggest things is to invest in yourself, isn't it? And however that works for you, but there's so many different ways. Maybe just self-helping yourself, I don't know, but
can we not make that a thing?
That could be your strapline. No.
Yeah. But I think that's the thing. It's like getting over that. Like, it's important to take the time, not just to be doing the work, but invest in yourself to improve and give yourself the knowledge to be able to do things better and work better.
Yeah, agree. It's about taking yourself seriously, and I think unless you do invest, whatever that looks like, time, money, resources, unless you do that, I don't know, there's just something you're not telling yourself, and therefore you're not telling anybody else around you that I am here to stay, I'm focused on all the right things, and I am taking myself, my business, and therefore your business, whatever you're helping other people with, seriously. So yeah, mine would be seek help, however that looks to you, coach, mentor, course, accountability partner, anything where you're saying, yeah, I'm here to stay.
Yeah, I mean, because I think for me, it is kind of all of those things. And the thing, which funnily enough, I said to someone at a networking event of, don't confuse kind of being busy, being out of the office all the time, but with growth.
Yeah.
You know, we could all attend network events every single hour of every day.
We know some of those people who do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. All right. Can't talk about that while we're live, while we're recording, can we?
So what have we learned about ourselves?
Not to tell you things before we start recording.
What have we learned about ourselves through these turning points, through attending the business course, getting a business coach, networking? What's the biggie?
Well, I think sometimes I would say it's it can be really daunting. Kind of, you're starting out in business or something. You get maybe a bit that anxiety of, well, how am I going to get from here to all the way over there? It's really hard to see the reality of the future that you want from the present. But when you're in the future and looking back, it's like, oh, that's how I did it.
Yeah.
So sometimes it involves those big turning points and those big decisions that make turning points, whether it's taking on staff or doing marketing activities or certain, whatever it might be that becomes a turning point. You've got to kind of do it with a bit of confidence, I think, really. You've got to kind of just grab the bull by the horn sometimes.
Yeah.
And I find that really hard. That's why it's taken so long to get to so near.
Kate?
So I've written down, I've made notes for this episode. Are you impressed with me?
I'm very impressed.
So I've written down for this that I think the magic happens at the edge of your comfort zone. I think that is my biggest learning, because everything, all of those things are outside of what you would, class as your comfort zone, aren't they? Whether that's, putting yourself out there to do a course and being in that frame of mind that you're going to learn all these things that you didn't know, and that's can be a bit like uncomfortable, can't it, realizing that there's so much you don't know, or going for enlisting the help of a coach, and that's a huge investment of time and money, and you're going to get challenged on things and things like that. That's outside your comfort zone, but that's where change happens, and that's where the real big stuff, the magic, the juice is going to,
fun stuff.
Yeah, and then once you're outside of your comfort zone, or you've stretched it, I think I've referred to mine as a big baggy pair of leggings in the past. They were really skin tight at one point. Now they're really loose and baggy and elasticated waist and all sorts. But it's nice. It gives you more space to move, and
it opens.
I feel like I'm losing the thread of what I'm talking about.
It opens
people in.
I think the metaphor's getting away from you there a little bit.
It opens up
the
so
leggings down.
many opportunities, doesn't it, that you just wouldn't have believed were possible at the start of your business. I've learned that I can have the business that I really want to have and running it in exactly the way I want to run it, which helps me be a better business coach to my clients, because I've pushed myself, and I wouldn't ask my clients to do anything that I wouldn't be prepared to do myself. So I love that has given me that whole brand new way of thinking, that I can have whatever I want in my business. It is just a case of investing time, money, resources, whatever that looks like.
Yeah. For me, I think the thing that I've learned about myself, which is, of course, one of the guiding principles behind this very podcast, is that I'm not on my own.
Yes.
Whatever I am going through, the good times, and more importantly, in a lot of ways, the kind of bad times, the lean times, you're not on your own with it. There'll be other business owners. Don't believe what you're reading on social media.
Yeah.
Don't believe what people are
truth.
saying in the network meetings. There are people who will be standing up going, yeah, I'm incredibly successful, 6-7 figures, blah, blah, whatever. And in reality, they're eating beans for tea and they're having to get rid of their part-time member of staff because they just can't afford that anymore.
Yeah.
So you are not on your own.
Yeah.
I think is the thing I learned about myself, because you do, particularly if it's just you in the business, because I've said before, it's just me sat at my desk in my office. I have these freelancers I work with, but when you're in that situation, you can feel like nobody else is going through this.
Yeah, it can be really isolating. So with that in mind then, let's talk about some of the challenges, because I don't know whether you've noticed, guys, but we're in this big period of change and uncertainty. So what are your biggest challenges that you're going through right now? Well, I think there's been a big shift over the last, I would say, 6 months in decision making and customers buying, whether that's, AI, the government, rising costs, whatever it is. Perhaps it's a mixture of all of them, but the landscape is definitely different.
Yeah.
So the biggest challenge that I like to take on is just constantly adjusting to that, because I think it's really easy to dig your heels in as a business owner and go, well, that's the way it works. That's the way I'm going to do it. But it's really silly to do that. And we have to, if things aren't working, you have to change things. So it's thinking, right, what needs adjusting? How can I make it easier for customers to buy into what I've got to sell in layman's terms?
I've got a comment on LinkedIn Live. Do you want me to?
I think,
yes.
Read it. Just kind of going back to what we were saying about what you've learned. It's Wendy Rogers from AI Made Simple saying, being part of a business community that gets you really helps keep you going.
Yes.
So it kind of comes back of, you're not on your own. There's other people that are going through it.
And that's like what Darren was saying. That's why networking is so important.
Yeah.
You know, there's loads of different networking groups, but it's about finding a group where, like Wendy says, the people get you, they're ready to help you in whichever way that you need.
Yeah, that's really true, because you do otherwise meet those people that Pete mentioned where they're very, braggy and I'm doing all this and I'm doing that, and that just kind of instills that imposter syndrome in yourself and makes you think, oh, well, why am I not doing that and getting these results? Or
you got to find your tribe, really, haven't you?
Yeah.
You do,
It's a well trotted out phrase, but it is absolutely spot on. Just finding the people that get you, and I think it's finding the people that you would be happy to go to the pub with. That's my kind of litmus test.
Yeah, well, that's my philosophy for everything. If I don't want to go to the pub with you, then forget about it. And funny enough, I have a pretty low bar, so let's go to the pub.
So, Kate, what's your challenge now?
I'm not sure I've got a really succinct answer to that, but I think I agree with everything that you've just said. Like the landscape out there is challenging. It's hard to navigate, and I think. I suppose one of my challenges is I probably chase after lots of turning points all the time. And it's like trying to work out what's the one to focus my energy on and the one that's going to make the difference. Because there are so many different things you can go out there and do, changes you can make in your business, changes you can make in your marketing, changes that you can make in the people that you work with, in your team. It's like, what is the one to focus your energies on? I think that can be very difficult, especially if you're someone like me who just sees distractions and exciting things in all directions, and it's very hard to like block out the noise sometimes and go like, I know exactly where I need to focus to solve my current growth challenges and get me over this hump and get on to the next level. So I think that's it for me. It's like how to know where to focus and get out of the ball pit of coloured balls with Pete, because that's not always.
It's brilliant.
It's brilliant fun, but you need to just pick one ball and focus on that.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, you're absolutely right.
One or two balls, I'd say. Focus.
I mean, come on, guys.
Keep it to yourself, I say.
What? Nikki has put a question, Nikki Hibbins. For those of you who transitioned from freelancer to a limited company, when was the turning point where you felt like a business owner rather than being in the employee mindset?
That's a good
Yeah.
question.
I never saw myself as a freelancer. I always saw myself as a business owner.
I think probably for me, it was the first time I did work for an agency. It was the first time it felt like, right, this is company working for company. I feel like a business owner. That was my first time when it was like, here we go. This is it. This is proper now. Before that point, it felt like, because I'd been a freelancer since leaving school. So...
Yeah, I mean, I struggle with the word freelancer really, because freelancers are business owners. They are responsible every day for bringing in business and paying their bills.
But when I worked in radio as a freelancer, there wasn't that we'd taken out a contract. So yes, I had a boss, as in the program controller or the editor, but they didn't do my taxes. So I just went where the work was.
But I think freelancers now, in the modern terminology of it, they haven't got contracts like that. Therefore, they are business owners looking for work. They're not contracted to agencies, or they've not got, 75% of their work with, a certain business.
So is it possible to...
Depends, I think.
To be both? Is it possible... I'm only thinking, of course, because of, like, Freelancer magazine is for freelancers, but the people that read it, the people that, contribite to it, if you spoke to them, would they kind of say, yeah, I'm a freelancer and I'm a business owner?
It's interesting. I think it's a label that it's just a label, isn't it? But I mean, I definitely, when I started out, was a freelancer, and then I kind of, over time, sort of forgot that I was a freelancer, I think, and then was just running a business. But for me, it was kind of almost the opposite of yours, Pete, in the sense that I started out as a freelancer, working for agencies, doing their work for them, and trying to do client work on the side, bits of my own clients. And then when basically the client work, direct clients, all took over, and I stopped doing work for other agencies, that was when it was kind of more of a business, I think. But I still didn't feel that it was.
Actually, I think I was similar to that. And I used to call myself a freelance graphic designer to start with. And I would do a lot of work for agencies.
So
but I don't do that anymore. Yeah. And then I there was a point where I stopped using that terminology.
So freelancers, therefore, are people that work with agencies.
But that's strange. But that was when I felt like a business owner, because I'd not been working for agencies. I've been working for kind of other business owners. But it was when an agency was like, "We need what you do." That was when I was like, "Oh, okay, here we go.
You're into the
stepping up now." Yeah.
Oh, Nikki's asked a good question.
We need to do a whole episode around this.
I would add another thing to that, though, in terms of when it really felt like a business. And weirdly, that was probably only like last year when I rebranded, because until then it was just my name. And that, to external clients, I always felt that they thought that it was just me, even though it wasn't. It wasn't quite the Gucci or the Armani that I thought my name had.
Darren Langley.
That's why I had to change it with something with a bit more gravitas.
Nice, beautiful. Well
done. But now it definitely, having that distinction really gives the business its own identity, and I think that's been really important.
So, Kate, just to finish off this point then and answer Nikki's question, what was it about you that made you kind of see yourself as a business, not a freelancer?
I think it was probably going through that, doing that course that really made me lift the lid on things and realise that that what I've got is actually a business, and see how the cogs all go together, and then starting to grow a team. And my team encompasses like both employed people and freelancers, and so therefore it's quite a broad team now. And now I feel responsible for this team of people that will help me on my mission. And now I feel like the whole thing is bigger than just me. And I think it's like, if you've got a vision and a mission and people around you that are helping you on that mission, I think that's the sort of transformative part of not feeling like you're
on your own.
Just delivering a service by yourself doing the work, but you're able to step out of it and you've got a team that are helping you with delivering that vision.
Brilliant. Succinctly put. I love it. So let's talk about silver linings then. So what are the silver linings when it comes to those turning points? And for me, it's about, because I'm the business owner, I can make the decisions on the turning points. All the decisions are in my hands. And I like to think of it as a black cab. I can turn on a sixpence. If something's not working, then I just make a decision and I change it.
I thought you were going to say, like a black cab, I can turn on my light or I can turn it off and drive right past you.
I can turn on a sixpence.
Nice, I like that,
that's good. Silver linings, I did have one, but it's just popped out of my head. But in all honesty, I think it's about growth. It's about those turning points that come along and grow. Your business grows with those changes, or and then you look back to the turning points that you've had and how your business has grown, and you realise that you're a big boy now and you can get on with it.
Brilliant.
Move on to the next one.
Kate, silver linings.
I kind of agree with all of that, really. I think for me, the silver linings are that these turning points that we've all been discussing in this episode are all absolutely critical to growing a business. And the silver linings are that they're great, they're good for you, and you need to get more of them. Just be focused on the right ones, and like Claire says, just make sure you're picking up the right ball, and if it's not, you put it down and pick up another one.
Move on.
And that's great, isn't it? That we are the master of our own destiny as well, and we can take charge of where we're taking things.
Totally. Pete, silver linings, got any?
It's, as Darren just said, it's that thing of looking back on kind of where you were, kind of where you've come from, I think is incredibly powerful. So when that turning point has occurred and you recognise it as such, to kind of go back before that and go, look where I was, look where I am now. And I find that can be just as inspiring as pretty much anything else. Look at the even more so, I know, we talked about lockdown earlier on, but even more so when that turning point was a conscious decision.
Yeah.
Even more so, you're like, yes, I can absolutely do this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think it's good to look at how consciously you made that decision about the turning point, because it might be, through more clarity or confidence. And that helps you to make those decisions to help more turning points in the future. Well, I did that because I was confident about making a decision. Brilliant, guys. Well, so we got through it, our first live episode.
Got through it? What did you think was going to happen?
Anything can happen. Have you not just heard? Anything can happen.
Okay.
So thank you to our lovely listeners on here and for your comments. And please remember to subscribe to A Funny Thing Called Business, share and review so our fellow business owners can enjoy, be inspired and always keep focused on the fun side of business too.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.